Good morning, everyone. It's Ryan Howe here with Small Business News. It's a show where I come to you every single day, Monday through Friday, between 8 and 9 a.m. Coming a little early today. I've got some client work I have to do, so we moved up the time frame a bit so I could be here to share some information with you all today. Again, this is the show where I come to you live Monday through Friday to share some of the information that I share with my clients every single day. This is I have a feed of research, plus I have additional news sources that come to me every single day that I share with my clients, and I want to have that with you here as well. If you want to learn more about what I do to help my clients out, go to summitbusinessguides.com. Check that out. Now, today we got May 16th. Uh, the article I've been sitting on for a little bit because I wanted to make sure that the data was still going to be holding firm, and the latest did come back, say yes, it did, and it has to do with one of the issues that we're running into right now with a lot of individuals is small business owners is the rent. The rent is too high. They're having difficulties making the rent, and we're going to take a look at the actual data here coming up in a second. Again, as always, links to every single article that I discuss will be in the description, so you want to check that out there. I hope to earn your subscription today. So let's get into this. It's going to be an interesting. This is an interesting article, to say the least. All right, so small businesses in crisis is rising numbers unable to pay rent. See what that means for us here. A significant number of small businesses across the nation are struggling to pay rent due to skyrocketing costs. A recent study by business networking platform Alignable found. The company's latest small business rent report published on Friday. So this is back on the 30th of April when this came out. So there's a couple weeks lag on this, but nothing's changed. Nothing's changed in the last couple weeks. Found that 43% of small business renters in the U.S. were unable to pay their rent in full and on time in the month of April. I'm going to say that one more time, and I'm going to say it slowly. The company's latest small business rent report published on Friday found that 43% of small business renters in the U.S. were unable to pay their full rent and on time in the month of April. Holy crap. That is absolutely insane. We have not seen numbers like that since COVID, since basically where the first, that April and May in COVID, where everything was shut down. People weren't sure what to do. We haven't seen numbers like that since then. That is startling where we're at. The delinquency rate was also 4% points higher than in March, making it the largest month-over-month surge in over a year, according to data analyzed by Alignable. All right. The state with the highest delinquency rate in the country was Texas, with 52% of small business owners unable to pay their rent in full and on time in April, followed by Massachusetts, California, Maryland, New York, Washington State, and the lowest delinquency rate was Colorado with 26%. Restaurant owners were struggling the most, and this is not a surprise to anyone who has been paying attention to anything going on. It's just, again, 52% saying they couldn't pay their rent in April. Again, a lot of that's been showing up this has been showing up in the data for a while now. This is where people, due to not, I guess inflation isn't going up, but it also hasn't been going down. So the costs have been moving up and up, and also in the restaurants. Excuse me one second. Sorry about that. All right, so in the restaurant space, commodities have been going up, while we maybe have seen grocery prices maybe level off a little bit as far as their raise. The commodities prices that restaurants are paying for their raw goods have not been going down. There's been commodities have been surging in the last 6 months, and they can only absorb those basically those increased costs in so many different ways. At this point right now, they've been tapped out. Their cash flow is coming to a quick end here, and it's just showing up. So small business owners in the science and technology sector followed with 51%, while 49% of owners in beauty salons, 48% of gyms owners couldn't pay rent this month. Holy crap. The report shows that small business in the U.S. are struggling despite the resilience of the U.S. economy, which isn't resilient. And I've talked about this at length on this program again, is that yes, the economy, there is money being spent and we are spending things, but on the services we're spending money on, but there's the money where the small businesses live at, where people are making cuts around the edges. are in some of the larger areas. Like again, people aren't going out to eat as much. They're still going out to eat, but they're also choosing where they want to go yet. Folks are cutting back on things they think they may not need, like the gym membership may be one of those that is going away. Um, it's just you're just seeing it across the board. Now, let's see here. Which avoided a widely expected recession last year due to the strength of the labor market. Again, we talk about there's 8.5 million job openings currently. The labor market is going to be strong for a very long time because we don't have enough people in the job. We do not have enough people to replace the boomers that are leaving. Troubles among small businesses is trouble for the entire country's economy, as small businesses employ nearly half of the entire workforce, according to the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, and represents 43.5% of the American GDP. We're not worried about what's going to have to do with the upcoming election. Press release, blah, blah, blah. All right. Majority of 54% of small business owners surveyed by Alignable said that their landlords were charging them more now than 6 months ago, with 11% saying the rent has increased by over 20%. 20%. Now, that's depending on where you're at, let's say that your average rent for a retail space, right? I'm just going to do some math here real quick. So you got average rent for a retail space, it's say $4,000 a month, right? Let's just say where you're at, $4,000 a month. That's $800. $800 that's coming back in. That can be, that ends up being like 1/4 of an FTE, a full time equivalent position, for depending on retail for 30 some hours. You're basically a quarter of one of your employees that you can no longer basically has now been shifted from there to rent. That's what's happening with folks now. According to Alignable, only 32% of small businesses founded before March 2020 are now earning as much month as they were able before the pandemic. Let me say this one more time. According to the Alignable, only 32% of small businesses founded before March 2020 are now earning as much every month as they were before the pandemic. Now think about how much we've had in inflation. How much, and now they are not making. You see what I'm saying here? Like, when they say the economy is strong, there's parts of the economy that are doing very well. Small businesses and the retail in those retail areas, the small business services area, they're struggling. Case in point here, only 32% are making more than before the pandemic. That's just wild. All right. Small retailers support millions of jobs in the U.S. And here's the example where they got here. Number of employees in retail trade in the U.S. in 2021 by employment size. We've looked at something similar to this before. 100 to 249 employees, the bulk of them here. But this is the area right now where you're seeing the vast majority of the struggles that under 50. In the manufacturing and other spots, there's definitely work available. So, that for today, I really just want to do a quick hit on this one because I think a lot of folks are missing the point on this with what's going on is that it's not just in inflation when it comes to the commodities, not just inflation when it's coming to wage pressures. Although the wage inflation has slowed down dramatically. People are not getting the raises are going down very, very quickly right now, to the point where they're almost static. But when you think about the overall input costs, electricity going up, your gas prices, everything that when you look at the inputs for small businesses, especially those that are renters, it's been chipping away a little, 5% here, 7% here, in this case, 11 to 20% when it comes to your rent. Those costs are directly eating away at the profitability for a large number of these small businesses right now. They're just hoping to get to the summer season so they can increase their cash flows. The issue is, and this is where I've talked with a lot of my clients right now, when you need to be looking at your overall costs. Yesterday on the show, I said, take a look at your revenues, take a look at your expenses, see where you're at, because we're at the halfway point for Q2. Take a look at those two and make sure that your projections are on track. Because if you are coming in lower on revenue and higher on expenses, right here in the shoulder season, the peak season is going to be lower. That's the way it trends. Basically where the top of that bell curve is going to be lower. It's just the way it works out, unless something miraculous happens. But that's not the case. So just make sure you're taking time to take a look at that. I'm talking to my clients, and we're tearing apart every single bit of every expense that we can find to basically help them keep their margins where they can be sustainable to get through this year and go from there. So with that, again, my name is Ryan Howe. You know, if you want to learn more about what I do, you can head over to again, head over to what's on here. There we go. You head over to summitbusinessguys.com, learn a little bit more about what I do, learn about some of the companies that I work with here, here in West Michigan, also in Maine. Learn more about the Pinnacle business operating system that I utilize to help my clients set up their businesses so that they can hire great people, define their purpose, build amazing playbooks, increase performance, and ultimately grow their profit. Again, see my latest YouTube video, and then obviously get there with my Facebook. So with that, this has been Small Business News for today. I appreciate everybody taking the moment to stop by. Again, hope I earned your subscription today. If you are a subscriber, make sure you hit that notification bell so you can be notified when I go live, so you can hop on here with me. We have a conversation and chat. With that, take care, and I will